Okay, day for brief notes, because I was wondering about that temple he got stored in. That is his home, and they have a little note here of an ancient temple polluted by an unnatural murder bears so near resemblance to the banqueting hall at Whitehall, before which structure King Charles I was beheaded. So Swift venerated the memory of that excellent king and blessed martyr Charles I, describing the regicide in 1649 as a murder, for example, in a sermon preached in 1726, the year of the publication of Gulliver Travels. The allusion to the martyrdom of Charles I is a sign of the political satire's high church Tory rather than dissident old Whig provenance, as old Whigs hated the Stuart king. Swift also honored the memory of the executed Earl of Stafford, that illustrious earl who died to preserve the church, his king, and the old constructions so shattered and crazed almost ever since. Which is from a letter. So we're getting little hints here of where he's coming from. That so he's high church Tory. Who venerates Charles I, the deposed king. Then we get we get Chucky II, and James. Oh, we get James I. Well, we've I think somewhere in here we've had the Glorious Revolution, so that's why they hated the Stuart kings, because there's new kings to have. All right, yet another little note. I'll hit pause and then I'll see if there's anything more I'm going to blabber about. Oh yeah, there is a thing in here where he's talking about bodily functions. He's saying like, oh no, I'm doing this because it's something that's like it's necessary to know, and not because I'm a my maligners would call me a filthy guy. And this remark, though said by Gulliver, seems to come from Swift, whose writings, especially A Tale of the Tub, are accused of filthiness, lewdness, immodesty, and of using the language of the stews. Ugh. Stews. There's a lot of allusions apparently to when they're describing the this emperor, that like he cuts a very trim figure. He has an Austrian lip. He's got arched nose, and he apparently has reigned about 7. Which George I had reigned about 7 years when Swift began writing Gulliver Travels in 1721. So he's writing a figure that he is obviously putting in opposition to George, who was a big fellow who there apparently was lots of stuff saying an Austrian lip. The emperor lip has the thick underlip typical of Habsburgs. George was neither Austrian nor Habsburg, but German. Contemporary Jacobite pamphleteers, however, attempted to discredit George's Protestant credentials by claiming he was secretly pro-Catholic and in league with the Catholic House of Austria. So we definitely have a lot of little things going on here that are lightly seditious, apparently. Yes. All right. This is the super entertaining video of me reading through the notes. Though I do want to actually keep up with the notes that are in the Oxford Classic World Classics version of Gulliver Travels, because things like, oh, they're making fun of the George I here, I would have gone completely over my head. And yeah, that the whole little note about the pocket perspective being a telescope was good to know, being obviously one of the themes of vision of changing perspectives in this work. All right, I will leave it there. More videos later.